Halo, halo, witam Was bardzo serdecznie. Dzisiaj mamy specjalny odcinek i bardzo się cieszę, słuchajcie, bo jest to odcinek, do którego przygotowaliśmy się cały miesiąc. It's a very special episode and I'm going to translate into Polish English, więc będę go tłumaczył, dlatego że mamy dwoje gości, którzy już czekają w poczekalni. We have two guests, special guests, they are waiting and we're going to talk about FPV and about the fantastic sides of FPV. Będziemy rozmawiać na temat FPV, dlaczego to jest najfajniejsze hobby na świecie, this is the best hobby on the world, dlaczego warto spróbować, why should we start, and the basic reasons. Mamy fantastyczne dwie dziewczyny, so we have the two girls flying FPV and they are champions, masters. To nie są początkujące dziewczyny, tylko to są mistrzowie. Prowadzą m.in. podcast, fantastyczny podcast Onigiri and Company, do którego Was zaproszę za chwilę. A teraz już przejdziemy and now let me introduce our guest. Halo, halo, dzień dobry. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
So, first of all, let me introduce, pokażmy, co my tutaj mamy, czyli kto jest naszym gościem. Oni mieszka w Melbourne, w Australii. She lives in Melbourne, Australia. Lata FPV only, tak? Or you fly also DJI?
Yeah, a little bit, but I've been back to analog recently because I feel more comfortable. Thank
Lata
you.
głównie FPV na analogu i na cyfrowym DJI. 5-inch, czyli 5 cali, 4-inch, 4S baterie, czyli 4 pakiety LiPo, 4S na Apexie, głównie na ramię Apex. Ulubiony styl freestyle, prowadzi kanał Onigiri na YouTubie, prowadzi Instagram i podcast Onigiri and Company. Wspaniali goście, współpracowała z Ethicsem, między innymi z Mr. Steel, z Erikiem Kornasty. Gośćmi podcastu, gdzie za chwilę pokażę, też są kapitalni ludzie. I naszym gościem już po raz trzeci, and our guest for the second time is MaiOnHigh, Lexie from MaiOnHigh. Lexie mieszka obecnie w Adelaide, pracuje, ma doświadczenia z airspeederem. To jest pierwszy quad, który będzie można obsługiwać przez człowieka, racingowy. Lata 5 cali FPV 6S, 50 stopni, jeżeli chodzi o nachylenie. Jej kont YouTube MaiOnHigh, Instagram MaiOnHigh. Na Skillshare znajdziecie też jej klasy, jej trening online wspaniały. Można na 30 dni za darmo spróbować. I też Lexie prowadzi treningi na symulatorze z Velocidrone. So Lexie is very famous racing drone pilot, professional one. She works right now in Adelaide, Australia for Velocidrone. Also is famous or known from Velocidrone trainings, FPV simulator, i prowadzi też podcast, and she leads also the podcast Onigiri and Company. Okay, girls, can I ask you the question, how did you start FPV and why it is the best hobby on the world? Oni, can you tell us a little bit more?
I started in 2017, and I started because at the time, Roto Riot was still with the original guys, and among these guys there was Tommy, that you said was in our podcast as a guest recently, and he was flying his drone at just an event happening in Hawaii, and I saw him diving beautiful waterfalls and stuff over there, and I thought that I was more interested into the filming than into the actual flying. So I thought it would be a great way to film stuff that is different than from the ground. So that's why and how I started.
Więc Oni zaczęła swoją przygodę na Hawajach już w 2017 roku. Widziała kolegów z Roto Riot, którzy robią fantastyczne dive'y, i to była jej wizualizacja i stwierdziła, że to jest coś dla niej, dlatego poszła głównie w FPV. So you fly mainly FPV or you fly also Mavic or digital, I don't know, gimbal drone?
I fly DJI for work, but my hobby is only with FPV.
Czyli też lata w pracy właśnie Mavicami, ale głównie jej głównym hobby jest właśnie FPV. Dobra, teraz Lexie. Lexie,
Hi.
what do you prefer? Co wolisz? DJI, oczywiście, airspeeder czy FPV?
I like ASP, that's great.
Lexie zmieniła ostatnio na airspeedera, ale też oczywiście fascynacja FPV zostaje w świecie. How was your first fly? Jaki był twój pierwszy lot na airspeederze?
On my channel, you will currently see my first flight with an airspeeder, which is a video of me flying at line of sight. But it's really delayed because I was not allowed to publish it. So I need to catch up. And by now, I did have flown at FPV, and guys, so cool.
Czyli Lexie miała opóźnienie, jeżeli chodzi o publikację swojego materiału z airspeedera. Tu możemy zobaczyć, jak on wygląda. Jest to pierwszy dron, gdzie ludzie będą mogli go obsługiwać z wewnątrz. Na razie latają line of sight i planują też wyścigi.
Nie latamy line of sight. Polska języka trudna. Line of sight jest tylko do momentu, kiedy potrzebujemy licencji. I jak już mamy tą licencję, to przesiadamy się na FPV i cały racing jest w FPV.
Wow.
Tak. A potem robimy licencję na to, żeby być w środku. So line of sight is just for the licensing purposes, and then it's gone. But on my channel, you'll see the line of sight video, and a lot of people are like, "Why you find line of sight?" I'm like, "Well, I'm getting a license."
Okej,
No,
dobrze.
it froze. That was bad.
Yeah, sorry.
Teraz jest.
Am I back?
Fine. Yeah, moving.
Teraz powiedzmy trochę na temat podcastu. Let me ask you about the podcast. What was the idea? Why? And you have fantastic guests. Mają dziewczyny wspaniałych gości, jeżeli chodzi o podcast. Ostatnio był m.in. Mr. Steel, ale był też Tommy z kanału Oh My God. I opowiadali o swoich przygodach w Nepalu, a także gdy latali na Alaska. Can you tell a little bit about the podcast? You publish regularly, like 2 times a month or once a week. And what about your guests? How it looks like?
So very briefly, the podcast was an idea I had for a long time, and I started a podcast with another person before finding Lexie, and it just allowed me to have a YouTube break and still be involved in the community. And I always wanted to do something with Lexie, so it was a good idea to do the podcast. And I try to have all my friends as guests, whether they are big YouTubers or they're my local friends I fly with. I want everybody to be on the podcast, and same with, if possible, Lexie's friends and other people she knows. Yeah.
Czyli oni zaczęła swój podcast, żeby mieć taką odskocznię od YouTube'a, żeby też była ciągle w community, w społeczności, ale jednak żeby zrobiła coś innego i na początku zaczęła zapraszać wszystkie osoby, które zna i znane osoby też ze środowiska, a teraz zdecydowała się prowadzić z Lexie. Lexie, can you tell us what is your point of view about the podcast? I mean, how you find yourself as audio only?
For me, I was actually really happy about it because I love Onigiri. I mean, she's great. You guys know that. So she proposed me doing a podcast together, and I was like, "Ooh, that means we're gonna talk to each other even much more." I love that. It's great, and it's just something that's a little bit different. I'm not super into like podcasts. I don't have. I never thought about making one, but I think it's just a great way to catch up with people, to really have really interesting conversations. Sometimes our conversations are just amazing. And there's a lot of stuff going on, like with Botgrind and police knocking at the door. It was amazing. It's true. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun and another thing to do. I love it.
Yeah.
Czyli Lexie właśnie opowiadała nam o gościach, o tym, co się dzieje i że ma też okazję dzięki temu, że uczestniczy, współtworzy podcast, nie tylko poznawać nowych ludzi i z nimi rozmawiać, czy odświeżać te znajomości, ale też więcej czasu spędzać z Onigiri właśnie przy tworzeniu tej audycji. First of all, I want to thank you for the podcast because it's one of the best FPV, let's say, program I've ever seen or heard, because it's such a honest, first of all, so you can express yourself as you wish. The second one, your guests are very honest as well, like Mr. Steele. He was talking about out of the comfort zone in Nepal. It is not a dream travel. It is a lot of not comfortable situations. And a lot of effort as well. And talking about Tony, he lost the drone in Alaska, and talking about the program, making program, a TV show in Alaska. It was really inspiring for me as well. And your conversation, talking about up and down, staying consistent in the FPV, flying, not flying, to have different moods, but still coming back to the hobby is really inspiring as well. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Chciałem podziękować dziewczynom, bo ten podcast naprawdę daje dużą wartość, jeżeli chodzi o szczerość, możemy opinie usłyszeć i też sytuacje, których byśmy normalnie nie widzieli w życiu codziennym. Tak jak opowiadał Tony, kiedy zgubił swojego drona na Alasce, albo Mr. Steele, czy właśnie inni goście, czy same dziewczyny opowiadają o tym, jak mają upadki, wzloty, czy tam dołki i wzloty, jak to wygląda w życiu. Także polecam ten podcast, jest naprawdę super. Let me ask you about the people, because the people are the greatest value, in my opinion, talking about community, about FPV. What is your opinion about the people? Lexie, I'm going to ask you first. Do you...
I do agree with your statement.
Yeah.
It's just a way different type of an animal, having like a lot of friends everywhere. Wherever you go in the world, and you will just ask FPV communities like, hey, is anyone in this area? And do you know any places to fly? A lot of times those people will not only tell you where to fly, they will pick you up and take you there with them, and you will have a lot of fun all together. So that's one of the things that I love about the FPV community. And also for racing, you always see the same faces. It's always basically the same people, and you always have fun. It's like we haven't seen each other for months, but still we will just really act like we just saw each other yesterday. And I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's fine. What about you, Ani? You are from France, then you went to Australia, but you've been also, you spent some time in United States, so you met a lot of people on your way. You are very young, but still very experienced with people. Tell me about the FPV relations.
Yeah, sure. I do like people in FPV, because the first video I made for FPV wasn't for me, actually. It was for my ex-partner on his YouTube channel, because he started flying before me. And I filmed him one afternoon flying with two other people, and that's when I realized that I really loved people in the community, because they were quirky and nerds and cute and funny, and so I filmed them doing their thing, and they were so passionate that then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do my own channel, and then every time I fly with people, I'm gonna film the people. But that also explains why recently I haven't posted that much. It's because at the moment I'm not in a position where I can fly with that many people. So I just fly and I don't film anymore because I don't have the people to film. But hopefully it will slowly come back. So we'll see.
We met twice. You forgot the camera twice.
That's true.
Rozmawialiśmy na temat ludzi i to, co Lexie powiedziała i oni, że ludzie w tym hobby są niezwykle pomocni, ale też stanowią inspirację dla innych, motywują i to jest mega fajna sprawa, że gdziekolwiek się ruszysz, to widzisz te osoby, które na przykład oglądasz na Instagramie czy na YouTubie i one dają ci mega kopa też takiego motywacyjnego i ludzie też dla siebie bardzo są pomocni, pomagają sobie. To jest jedna z największych wartości, dlatego na numer 1. Okay, so let me show you Let me show you the Australian funny fact number one. Jako przerwę teraz mamy w rozmowie pierwszy zabawną scenkę, ciekawostkę z Australii. Pierwsza jest taka, słuchajcie, że w Australii są takie spoty, gdzie możemy swoją komórkę umieścić. So there are some spots where you can just put your phone and snap the picture, take a picture, photo and send to the research center. I możemy wysłać to do centrum takiego badawczego i pomóc w badaniach, na przykład jak wygląda i zmienia się linia brzegowa fali. And then we can help in a research for a certain institute. It's something really special. I've never seen such things in anywhere else.
I think I saw one.
So you can make it almost so you can make it many times, take it many times per day. So they have a lot of pictures every day.
And
without installing any expensive equipment or I don't know to not damage or for the condition. Yeah. So teraz, czyli to była australijska ciekawostka numer 1 i teraz why FPV number 2, numer 2, dlaczego doświadczenia, experiences. You've been around the world, girls, with flying and meeting people. What about your experiences? Let's make one or two examples. You told only about flying on Hawaii. In Hawaii, it was something what you were motivated to start in with this experience. Can you tell a little bit about such experiences? Something more?
Yeah. So when I saw that Tommy was able to take his drone and travel and feel these kind of things, at the time I had some free time. Did I freeze? I'm sorry.
No,
fine.
you just kind of
I'm like,
you roboted
okay.
for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. I ended up having a bit of time at the time to travel, so I did take my drone with me in Indonesia, and flying with Indonesian pilots was awesome because they were able. So it was in Bali. More specifically, and we were able to talk about the difference in culture as well. Like it takes a long time for them at the time, I don't know how it is now, but to receive parts, for example, and to build drones, and but at the same time I found them very brave. They would not hesitate to go and fly above water without even crossfire at the time, and I was like, oh my god, it takes so long for them to build the drone, and they're just so brave, and I was very impressed, and I still have good friends there, so that's definitely one of the good experiences I've had. The second experience is really quick. Last time I went back to France in 2018, I was able to show my grandmother FPV. I did FPV around her house in which she had lived for like 50 years, and she loved it.
Yes. And where she lives? In France? France.
She lives in France. Yeah.
Czyli oni opowiadała o swoich 2 doświadczeniach, które były fantastyczne. Pierwsze doświadczenie dotyczyło Bali i lotów w Indonezji, dlatego że poznała lokalnych pilotów, którzy nie mają łatwo, jeżeli chodzi o budowanie drona i zebranie wszystkich części. Na Bali jest trochę trudniej z tym, muszą też długo czekać i to też kosztuje sporo, zapewne. W każdym razie, jak już latali, to latali jakby nie było jutra i latali nad oceanem, nad morzem, tuż nad wodą i nie było dla nich takiego ryzyka. Była pełna podziwu, że tak mocno ryzykują. I druga rzecz, o której mówiła, to, że latała we Francji niedawno u swojej babci i tam też było fantastycznie, że jej się to tak bardzo podobało, że można latać wokół jej domu i dla niej to było też mega doświadczenie. Teraz let's ask Lexie about experiences. What would you tell us?
I think my favorite experience was randomly finding someone who knew the contact that can take me to the Great Wall of China and flying in the Great Wall of China absolutely legally. That was just the greatest experience. And a second one is, I think, the fact that FPV got me from just flying toys into flying an eVTOL that's bigger than me, and I will be able to get in it and just flying in general, moving to Australia and doing all things like this. It's something like I wouldn't think, like, when I started in 2015, my mom was like, and what is this going to give you in life? So hey, mom, I'm gonna be a pilot now. I'm doing my pilot's license.
Więc Lexie nam podzieliła się dwoma doświadczeniami niesamowitymi. Pierwsze doświadczenie dotyczyło chińskiego muru, że zdobyła legalne pozwolenie na to i zgodę na to, żeby polatać nad czy przy chińskim murze. To było jedno z ciekawszych doświadczeń. I też drugie takie jest, że jak duże zmiany w jej życiu właśnie spowodowało latanie FPV, to, że jest pilotem. W 2015 roku jej mama mogłaby zapytać, dlaczego latasz i co ci to da, te latające zabawki, co one ci dadzą, a okazuje się, że dzisiaj Lexie mieszka w Adelaidzie, jest zawodowym pilotem i jako jedna z nielicznych osób ma właśnie takie możliwości, żeby latać czy pilotować airspeedera i mieszkać na innym kontynencie zupełnie. Więc to jest wręcz niesamowite. Super, thank you very much for this part. And now let's move to the second funny facts about Australia. Teraz mamy drugą ciekawostkę odnośnie Australii. Niedawno, it is lately, but they can order, ale mogą zamówić sobie tablice rejestracyjne, the nameplates, with emoji. Czyli z emotkami. Have you seen?
The guy I saw it today was having fast and the emoticon with the sunglasses on it, and I was like,
yes.
damn, that's just amazing.
Yeah, it's very expensive apparently.
It's really expensive. It was a very expensive car too.
Yeah,
okay,
but it is possible.
It is, and I've never seen emoji. I'm learning that today. I've seen like full names and stuff, but the emoji, I'm gonna look for.
I wanted to actually ask you about it today, but then you guys started talking about it. I was like, yeah, that was my question.
Yes. Dobrze, czyli Lexie widziała jedną taką tablicę, o niej jeszcze nie widziała w rzeczywistości, bo to jest nowa sprawa, ale też kosztowna i faktycznie w Australii pojawiły się już takie możliwości, żeby emotki były. And now let's come back to the places. We have already told about inspiring places in Bali, Hawaii and China as well, and France. So going to the point, it is fantastic that you can bring your FPV equipment and you can fly almost everywhere. And of course, there are some limitations, but let's say almost everywhere. And the experience is new, is something unique, and almost nobody can experience, like flying in the mountains or ridge cruising or diving to the waterfall. What is your feeling? Yeah, what is your feeling, let's say, Oni? How you... is it still the same feeling? I mean, you move to you're going to the new place and you want to fly there? How do you experience such a changes? Yeah.
It's I usually fly in a way. I don't go super high and I don't go super far from myself. I really like flying close proximity to things. So I really like going to either open field because I can still find lots of things to fly around, or abandoned buildings. It doesn't have to be, I know I gave Hawaii as an example when we started talking, but it doesn't have to be Hawaii. It can be literally an abandoned parking lot somewhere. I'm happy. And I just really like exploring when I start flying at a new place, exploring a little bit. And then once I found the cool little elements, that's where I'm going to stick to them and fly as close as I can to them. If sometimes I'll hit them, I'll hit them. But yeah, that's what I like to do in any places.
Lexie, you have been traveling a lot and you've been flying a lot in different countries as well. I know your last year trip to Slovenia, but can you share your experiences with travel and flying?
I think it's we do see a lot of stuff on Instagram and YouTube, just people showing their videos from vacation and pictures from vacation, and it's always like at one point it becomes the same thing over and over again. I think with FPV, we are allowed and we are blessed with the opportunity to show places from a way different perspective. And it's just a different feeling. It's a absolutely different type of a thing for me. And I love traveling with drones because it literally allows me to be like, oh, I don't want to hike up to the hill, but I can fly to the hill. So, yeah.
Zapytałem dziewczyny właśnie o ich preferencje, jeżeli chodzi o latanie i to, co jest ciekawe, właśnie oni mówiła o tym, że ona nie lubi latać zbyt daleko i zbyt wysoko, raczej takie close proximity, czyli blisko obiektów i to jest super. To, co Lexie powiedziała, że mamy niesamowitą możliwość, że tak powiem, że możemy latać zupełnie inaczej i postrzegać świat zupełnie inaczej niż wiele osób, dlatego warto latać FPV, bo jesteś w stanie właśnie zrobić i spojrzeć na świat zupełnie z innego punktu widzenia, który większość, praktycznie prawie całe społeczeństwo nie jest w stanie osiągnąć, nawet z helikoptera czy z innego środka, po prostu to jest inna forma latania. Okay, thank you very much. It is really great honor to being to hosting your today. We have around maybe 5 minutes left, so if you could share some of your thoughts why people should start, to motivate, to inspire. Is it worth to start FPV if someone is flying the drone with gimbal for today, still in 2020? Oni, how would you say?
It's worth it if you think you like being in the air. And you like how a Mavic fly, you definitely need to give a go to FPV, because the drone itself that we fly, the drone that we fly is a lot more agile than what you can do. You can go to fire places, you can go exactly where you want once you've mastered the flying. Sorry if I'm freezing.
It's fine.
But yeah, I think okay, I think it's just the main point. Give it a go to see how you can push the limits even more with this type of drone, with this type of FPV drone compared to a Mavic.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And what about Lexie? How would you recommend changing or trying FPV?
We see your Gmail.
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah, I think it's absolutely worth it if you like fun, if you think that your DJI or whatever camera drones with gimbals are doing and you think it's amazing. Put yourself a little bit step further, a little bit out of the comfort zone, because this is exactly where the coolest things are happening. Trust me, I know from experience.
Czyli słuchajcie, mamy rekomendację taką, że warto spróbować, dlatego że po pierwsze ten dron zachowuje się zupełnie inaczej, jest bardziej czuły na nasze bodźce, które mu dajemy, czyli na nasze sterowanie i możemy zupełnie inaczej, w innej formie latać i w zupełnej sytuacji się innej znaleźć, w innej pozycji i spojrzeć na świat inaczej. Dobrze, okay, let's ask people, let me show some of your... Jeżeli są jakieś pytania, to bardzo proszę, żeby zajrzeć. There are some comments, good content. Yeah. Girls, we'll track your journey with FPV on Instagram. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Czy oni zagra na... will you play the guitar for us? Guitar.
Another time.
Next time.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we have any questions. We have the greetings from the guys. Mamy pozdrowienia. Yay. Super studio. Dzięki bardzo. Thank you very much. Thank you. Dzień dobry. Coffee. Have a nice coffee. Siema. Super. It's cool. Also checking
it's a bit
it.
Late for coffee, but...
Okay, so
everybody sounds lovely.
Yeah.
They do. And I even understand what they're saying.
I need to find really something in my email. This is the last part because I have some. I have some gift. I have the gift for Onigiri. Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember the episode when friend from Korea visited you? There is a thumbnail of you with red head, and
Yes.
I've been very inspired of your photo, let's say photo, and I just asked my friend to draw the picture based on the photo,
Oh,
and that's it.
wow.
And this is for you.
Thank you.
Słuchajcie,
It's so
That's
good.
so cool.
Tak,
So-
któregoś razu. So this is transparent. You can put it everywhere on your website or on your
That's so
Instagram.
cool. Thanks so
Pewnego.
much. So, can I just
That's so
say
cool.
that the person who took the photo is Thomas Bitmara's dad, and Thomas Bitmara is one of the famous racers, FPV racing pilots in the world. So all credits also to Paul Bitmara who took the photo.
Thank you very
Oh
much.
my god, you
So
know that
I'm.
Paul said that he cannot make a good picture of me? It's been going on for years.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
said
no.
4 years, I cannot make a good picture of you.
But anyway, Anya, I'm really pleased to have
Thanks.
something for you. Girls, thank you very much. So I think that's it, and it's great inspiration for our viewers, for the Mavic pilots to start FPV journey, because we can experience a lot. Dziękuję serdecznie za obecność dzisiaj. Zapraszam też do followowania, do obserwowania dziewczyn na Instagramie, na YouTubie, podcast Onigiri również. U Lexie też jest bardzo dobra klasa, jeżeli chodzi o FPV na Skillshare. Możecie za 30 dni mieć za free dostęp. Linki są zwykle w opisie do tych social mediów. No i też zapraszam Was do śledzenia YouTube'a, Instagrama naszych
please.
dzisiejszych gości. Także tak to wygląda. Thank you very much. Dziękuję bardzo za uwagę wszystkim. Widzimy się w kolejnym epizodzie już niedługo. Trzymajcie się i do zobaczenia. Cześć.
Okay.